I'm your host, Trey, and I look forward to going on this journey with you. Each episode, I'll talk to guests of all walks of life, and I'll ask them the behind-the-scenes truths we all want to know. I'll reach out to newsmakers, celebrities, athletes, and ordinary individuals who were there during some of the biggest events of our time. Together, we will hear the story behind the story. So let's get started. This is The Edge of It All. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of The Edge of It All, where you will hear the story behind the story. Appreciate everybody taking the time today to join our podcast. And when I tell you this is a special one, it's special to me personally, and it's going to be really special to you because the guest we have for you today is someone we probably don't even really need to introduce. We could just show his face on the video. We could probably just let you hear his voice, and you would know exactly who he is. He is one of the greatest entertainers of our time, and we're going to get to him in just a minute. But first, thank our sponsors for making this podcast possible today. Thank you to Discount Tires, located in Sherman Oaks, California. Tired of driving on tires that are flatter than a pancake? Don't worry, Discount Tires has got you covered. They've been around for over 40 years, specializing in servicing vehicles and selling tires, all the while making sure that customer service is their top priority. They have expert technicians there that will conduct multi-point inspections, including brakes and factory maintenance, to ensure that your car is running like a dream. Plus, if you mention the Edge of It All podcast, you'll score a free alignment check, brake inspection, or air check. Who knew saving money could be that easy? So why not give your car the love it deserves and join the Discount Tires family? Go and get your freebie today at Discount Tires. Also want to thank Kinchan Ramen. Are you ready to take your taste buds on a wild ride? Then buckle up, because we've got just the thing for you, Kinchan Ramen. They offer authentic, take-home Japanese ramen kits made with high-quality local ingredients in a variety of iconic and unique flavors. Pre-cut fresh toppings included, you can make a restaurant-quality bowl of ramen in your own home in less than 10 minutes. No cooking skills required, no top chef required. They also offer vegan and gluten-free options so you can indulge without any dietary restrictions. Order from their website at www.kinchanramen.us. Use the promo code EDGEOFITALL at checkout for a 20% discount off your order and have it delivered to your doorstep today. With that, let's get to the show. And it is so exciting for me to be able to introduce someone who is a true legend in the music industry, who is part of the iconic rap group Public Enemy, Grammy-nominated TV personality, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, and somebody who, when I look at my past and music and everything that I went through in those college years and high school years, what an incredible influence. And it is my honor to introduce Mr. Flavor Flav to the Edge of It All. Flav, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's truly an honor, man. And I know you're a busy man. We're going to get to all that. But to take the time to sit down with us is truly an honor for me personally. And what I wanted to tell you, man, is when I told everybody, or friends, let's say, that I was going to be interviewing you, there's no one you run up on who says, who? They know who Flavor Flav is, right? I mean, you don't really run into people who go, okay, well, I don't know about Flavor Flav. And that's all ages, all generations. That's got to be kind of crazy for you because you've affected that many people.
Hey, well, let me tell you like this, God is good, you know what I'm saying? And he's blessed me with a great life, man, you know what I'm saying? A great energy, you know what I'm saying? And he's blessed me to where the energy that I have, you know what I'm saying, is very gravitational.
I like that word.
What I'm saying? To all ages of people, you know what I'm saying, in the whole nine. And one thing that I'm grateful for, you know what I'm saying, is that there's a lot of legends, you know what I'm saying, that's from my era, you know what I'm saying, that don't have kids as a fan base. And I have kids as a fan base, and I've always had kids as a fan base. So I'm real blessed with that.
When I talk to people, it's interesting what they think they know and what they don't know. And one of the first things people said to me was, and it's funny because I've heard you and I've watched interviews with you, is they go, okay, well, how do you come up with the name Flavor Flav? And then the clock, and there was, we could even go down the line and talk about, what they called a flavor dance. But everything, right, that went into the flavor persona. How did all that come about, from the name to the clock, all of it that made you Flavor Flav?
Well, it all started back in the day, you know what I'm saying, when, I was a kid and there was a guy, his name was Kevin Starks, and he used to, babysit me. He used to watch over me and everything. And back in those days, I always loved a lot of candy, a lot of fruit flavored sodas and stuff. I mean, like Lifesavers, Now and Laters, all kind of fruit flavored sodas like grape and cherry, orange, strawberry. A lot of Starbursts and stuff. I was always a freak for flavors. You know what I'm saying? So this guy started calling me Reek the Flavor Freak. Okay. And the reason why that is because the name that I originally grew up with, it's Rico, and this was before Flavor Flav. My name was Rico, you know what I'm saying? And he used to call me Reek the Flavor Freak. So when MCing came about back in the days, there was a lot of MCs that had common names, like MC Bobby B, MC, there was even MC Chucky D.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's names are common, but I wanted a name that nobody else had, nobody else wanted, but yet it had to mean something. So I came up with MC Flavor. So as I named myself MC Flavor, I got in with my partner Chuck D, Hank Shockley, Keith Shockley, the Bomb Squad. At that time, they were known as Spectrum City, which was a mobile jockey group. And what we did was we would go around and we would, throw park jams. We would rent the centers out and throw jams for the people in the neighborhood and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So they ended up giving me a radio show on WBAU 90.3 FM from Adelphi University. And around that time, like some of those common names, there was like Bobby B, Mary G, you know what I'm saying? So it was Chuck D that really started calling me Flavor Flav. You know what I'm saying? So
I gotcha.
I took that. You know what I'm saying? Now, back in the days, we used to wear stopwatches.
Right.
As a fad, right? We used to wear stopwatches as a fad. So one day, playing the dozens with my boys in our projects, this crackhead, her name was Joyce Miller. She came through our projects with this big box of shower clocks that she stole from a place called Fortune Off. And it was over in Westbury, Long Island. So my boy, son of Berserk, TA, Tony Allen, he took one of the clocks out the box, took the stopwatch off my neck and put the clock around my neck. Everybody in the hallway started laughing. Now, if you dared Flavor Flav to do something back in those days, Flav would do it. So they dared me to wear that clock on stage during a show.
And that's how that came to be.
So when we went and opened up for the Beastie Boys in Passaic, New Jersey, 1986, I won a clock. The next day, we were on the front page of the Daily News, New York Post, Newsday, New York Times, and the look of the clock was dope. So I decided to keep it. Now, if you go back to some of our early Public Enemy photos,
Right.
y'all will also see Chuck D wearing a clock too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And after every show, he used to take his off, but I kept mine on.
Well, it worked.
You know? So I wore the clock for a few years and everything. Chuck finally took his off finally. And then Hank Shockley said, Flav, man, you need to take that clock off now, man, because it's old. It's getting worn out. It's getting played out. I'm like, fuck you, dude. I'm keeping my clock, man. Are you crazy? I'm so glad I did.
I bet.
Yeah, man, it became a phenomenon. You know
Well,
what I'm saying? But not only that, but also let me add on to this. When I first started wearing these clocks, I remember going overseas and we did a concert at Hammersmith Odeon. And I'm usually the last person to come out on the stage, you know. The S1Ws, Native X, they come out first, open up. The Chuck D comes out on Rebel Without a Pause. He starts rhyming, yes, the rhythm, the rebel, without a pause, I'm lowering my level. And then when it comes down to my part, yo, Chuck, yo, you got it. I will come out on the stage. I will finally make my entrance. And when I made my entrance out on that stage, I looked in the audience, I was like, holy shit. Everybody in the audience had on clocks. It was crazy. I had the whole world wearing clocks.
Yeah, you did.
So anyway, I know that was a long answer.
Nah, it's great.
Hey, you asked me two questions in one, so I had to answer two questions in one. So now you know where Flavor Flav comes from, and you know where the beginning of my clocks came from.
I love it. And I think it's amazing because sometimes things just work. You know, you may not even intend them to work, but the clock, the name, the whole Flavor Flav persona, the hype man, everything, it worked. How close was Flavor Flav, the persona, to the real man, you know, to the real dude? You know, was that really a glimpse into who you are back then, or is it part of, you know, the show? Because it is entertainment.
Well, to answer that, I just want to say that Flavor Flav is a character that I built up based off of my real actual life that I was living out in the streets.
I got you.
So yeah.
I got you.
That's how close Flavor Flav is to the original man inside of me.
Other thing I saw, and we're getting ready to get into this whole Public Enemy and how you and Chuck D got together. Am I correct? You were kind of a musical genius in terms of what you could do and how many instruments you could play that I don't think people really know about.
Right. Well, you know, first of all, every instrument that I play right now, you know what I'm saying, I was self-taught. You know what I'm saying? I play about 14 different instruments, different ones.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? My main instruments is drums, keyboards, you know, pianos and stuff, bass guitar. I love playing a lot of the percussion instruments like congas, timbales, cowbells, and stuff like that. But also, you know, while I was in school, I used to experiment with all of the instruments inside the band room. That's how I was able to learn how to play the trumpet and learn how to play the sax and learn how to play the French horn. And, you know, I played flute. I played clarinet. You know, I played tuba. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I even started playing the oboe. The oboe is an instrument you got to stand on a chair. and you gotta play it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to form that picture in my mind. You know, you with the flute and all that.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people can't picture it. You know what I'm saying? But that's because my character doesn't involve a flute.
Yeah, right. True. But it
But
speaks to but it speaks to your musical, what you had in you in terms of music, because you just said you were self-taught. So when it came time to translate that to song and rapping, you know, it's a flavor thing. It's a self-taught thing. You brought your own image and your own self to it. So it's kind of that same theme, isn't it?
Right. And I just want to say too, for a lot of the instruments, besides the bass, pianos and keyboards, drums, all of the other ones that I do know how to play, I only play good enough just to make a statement. But then I gotta give it to somebody that's way better than me with the instrument and let them take it on, you know. So
I got
like
you.
that.
That's better than most people, though. All right, take me. You know, you've developed this name. You said you had a radio show. You mentioned Chuck D, the legendary Chuck D. Now we're getting to the point where you're becoming or about to become Public Enemy. How does Public Enemy form and then go into, you know, becoming part of Def Jam as well?
Well, back in those days, like I was saying, when they gave me my radio show on WBAU, also Chuck D, Hank Shockley, and Keith Shockley, they had a segment on our radio station called the Spectrum City Mix Hour and One Half, because, you know, we were DJs. So, you know, we would have a mixed hour and a half show. You know what I'm saying? So, also, let me add this. When we used to, when we were Spectrum City and we were throwing these park jams and all of these gigs, we also needed security, you know, at our gigs. So Professor Griff had a security company. You know, he had a security company, so we would use Griff's security company.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And the whole nine to secure our gigs. So one day I came up to our studio at 510 South Franklin, and I'm hearing this. So I'm like, what the hell is Chuck doing in there? I walked inside the studio. Now, back in those days, we were playing cassette tapes. I walked in the studio. Chuck D had a tape coming out of the tape deck, coming out around a microphone stand and then back into the tape deck. That was a loop.
Never seen it, right?
I want you guys to know that was the first loop ever.
Wow.
Chuck D created that. And that's real talk, you know what I'm saying? Chuck D created the first loop. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine. So I told Chuck, I said, listen, man, I was on my way up here to the studio, and this guy, Ron D. Whaley, he stopped me and asked me, yo, what's up with your boy Chuck D? Man, I want to battle him. I said, well, listen, Chuck don't battle anybody, but we could put you together with some people and we could set you up with a battle, you know? He was like, yeah, well, your partner Chuck D, man, yo, he swear he nice, man, you know? So I told Chuck this story when I got into the studio, and he said, yo, put that story on the beginning of this tape. I said, okay. So I said, hey, yo, Chuck, bust a move, man. Now, I was on my way up here to the studio, and this brother stopped me and asked me, yo, what's up with your boy Chucky D? He swear he nice. I said, yo, the brother don't swear he nice. He knows he's nice. You know what I'm saying? So, Chuck, I got a feeling you turning into a public enemy, man. Now, remember that line you was kicking to me on the way out to L.A. Laurelton, Queens, when we was in the car on our way to the shop? Well, yo, right now, kick the bass to them brothers and let them know what goes on. And Chuck D says, what goes on? Well, I'm them all in, put it up on the board. Another rapper shot down from the mouth that roared.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, down with the count, the result of my lyrics, so yes, no doubt. So we made that tape for BAU only.
Gotcha.
Now, up at our station, we used to have a lot of people come by our station and visit, like LL Cool J, Run DMC, the Fat Boys. A matter of fact, too, we gave the Fat Boys their first radio interview.
Huh.
They out there anyway. So one day, DMC and Jam Master Jay comes to the studio. Comes by the station. They were looking for Chuck D because they wanted to take this Public Enemy #1 tape, turn it into a record. Now, at that time, Def Jam had just started. Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin had just started, and they didn't have enough money to really treat the artists right and everything, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, long story short. So DMC, Jam Master Jay, comes up to this radio station. They're looking for Chuck. So I said, well, listen, Chuck is over at the studio, man. I'll take y'all over there so y'all can see him. So I jumped in the car with DMC and Jam Master Jay. I'll never forget it. And we drove over to 510 South Franklin. Chuck was upstairs in the studio. So Jam Master Jay and DMC was trying to talk Chuck into putting Public Enemy #1 out on Def Jam.
Right.
And Chuck was like, nah, man, I don't want to do that, man. I'm having fun doing radio, man. You know what I'm saying? Plus, the artist wasn't getting there just do that.
Interesting.
So finally, when LL Cool J went platinum, when the Beastie Boys went platinum, when Run DMC went platinum, now they have enough money, you know what I'm saying, to treat the artists fairly. So Chuck said, okay. So when we went to sign Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons, they did not want me. They only wanted Chuck.
You're kidding me.
Yes. And that was because back in the days, the voice style was a bassy voice,
right?
Like it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how I keep going under. But my voice was real high. It was real peaky. It was annoying. People hated that shit. You know what I'm saying? And Chuck said, "Listen, this ain't gonna work if he's not on the record." So it was Chuck D that forced me down Def Jam's throat.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's when we formed the group Public Enemy.
Gotcha.
And then Chuck and Hank said, you know what? This would be a good idea to have Griff and a couple of his security members join the group. And we'll call them the S1Ws.
There you go.
So that's how Public Enemy came about, because it started out with me and Chuck D, and then they added Professor Griff and the S1Ws. And S1W stood for Security of the First World. And the reason why is because we believe that Black people are first world people. Sure. You know, they were considering Black people third world people. I mean, what the fuck is a third world? You know what I'm saying? Where at in the universe is the third world? There's only one world. And this is the first world. And that we are people of the first world.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's flavor philosophy right there, right?
Yes, definitely.
That story is so great about the forming of it. But I think back to what you just said about they didn't want you initially. I bet they're glad they got you.
Oh, hey, let me tell you like this. When after they signed me and everything, I went my own character, started doing my own thing, bringing the real life streets onto the records. I was the first real life streety guy with the slang, coming out with dances and all of this on records. You know what I'm saying? I was the first one. So One day, me and LL Cool J are in a limousine and we're riding, going to the Afros video shoot because Run had a group called the Afros. So we were on our way to the Afros video shoot. So LL was when we were sitting in the back of the limousine, he always used to say, "Yeah, boy." Like, "Yeah, boy. You know this? Yeah, boy." So what I did was I took the "yeah," I made it longer. Then I took the "boy," and I made that longer.
Yeah, you did.
And that's how we got "yeah, boy."
And we all know that.
Everybody, I really want y'all to know, and I'm telling you the truth. Yes, I got "yeah, boy" from LL Cool J.
But you made it your own, though.
I just made it my own. Right.
There you go.
And ever since I said that on records, Flavor Flav, and y'all can do your research, and y'all can look this up, and y'all can see that I am telling the truth, that Flavor Flav is the most sampled voice ever in the history of music.
That's an amazing fact on its own.
Those lyrics made me the most sampled voice ever. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think about, though? I mean, we talk about all the things you've done, all the things Public Enemy's done, and we'll get into even what you've done in TV. But most sampled voice ever? That's kind of crazy to think about.
Nobody's voice has been sampled more than Flav's. And there's a lot of people that might come too close to it, even like Chuck. Because a lot of people sample bass.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of people sampled that, man. You know what I'm saying? Online. So, I mean, but nobody sampled more than Flav. Yeah, boy. Yo, Chuck. Yo. You know what I'm saying? You know, I had a lot of, yo, rock that shit, homie.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that back in the days?
Oh,
rock that shit, homie.
Oh, yeah. You're taking me back, though. You're taking me back. Let me ask you, Flav. You guys come out with the album. Yo Bum Rush's show comes out in '87, and it was interesting. I want to get to a little touch on a little bit of all these different things. But did I hear this right? That the songwriting for that album was unique in terms of where you wrote it, where you wrote the songs for that album.
Yes, at the time when we wrote that album, me and Chuck D was working for his father. His father had an interior designing, put it this way, his father had a delivery company.
Right.
Okay. And we used to pick up furniture from interior designers and decorators, and we used to make deliveries. You know what I'm saying? In a U-Haul truck. So while we were out there, making our deliveries, we would be writing along the way. We would be listening to tapes and stuff, and pause button tapes and stuff, and then we would write to these tapes. So me and Chuck really wrote that first album riding around in the U-Haul truck. Yo Bum Rush's show.
And that's where Rebel Without a Pause came from, in a U-Haul truck. That's why we do these interviews, man, because that's a fascinating story of just the glimpse into the mind of how songs and where they were written and what they come about. 88 comes around, and all of a sudden It Takes a Nation of Millions, to Hold Us Back comes out. And there's songs on there that stood the test of time. They're legendary songs. Bring the Noise, Don't Believe the Hype, even Night of the Living Bassheads. Did you feel at that moment like, okay, here we go, Public Enemy's getting ready to take off? Could you feel that at that time?
No, because we didn't even think about it or anticipate it. We just let it happen. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine. I mean, you know, we just made records because we wanted the world to have good music. We didn't really know that it was going to have the impact that it did.
Yeah.
And I didn't plan on having. I mean, I didn't plan on on it having the impact that it did. I was just making records for people to hear and to listen to and
Sure.
to dig and vibe to. That's all. That's all I was doing. You know what I mean?
But the
But it
dig and
ended
the
up
vibe,
something else.
yeah.
Huh?
What's funny is the vibe and the beat and everything that went with it was so great. And then and I won't say stumble into, because it had to be a conscious thing about what you were writing. All of a sudden, there becomes the message. I saw where Russell Simmons said one day in an interview about you guys that Public Enemy sings about a message, about the plight of Black America at the time versus singing about partying. And what's funny is during some of those days, you were listening to Biz Markie, you say he's just a friend, Young MC, and it was great music. But all of a sudden, bam, in your face, bass in your face, you might say, here's Public Enemy with this different sound. And along with the sound comes a message. And in '89, Fear of a Black Planet comes out, and Fight the Power, which becomes an anthem, is right there. Did you see that kind of that mix of we're making great music, but we've got a message to share here?
Well, see, one thing that we always did was we always wrote about what was going on in our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We would write about problems that was going on in the neighborhood, but then also within the same record, we would come up with the solution.
Yeah. That was what was different.
Record. And that's what our music was about, you know what I'm saying? Trying to come up with solutions to problems in all neighborhoods. Because, hey, listen, the same problems that we had in our neighborhoods, everybody else had in their neighborhoods too. Mainly with the gang violence thing going on, you know
Sure.
what I'm saying? And, because back in those days, gangs were still very, 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 very popular. And I used to be in gangs too. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine. I'm not going to say which ones because to this day, I'm still in them. I'm in a couple of gangs that when you get in, you're in for life.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? In the whole
Don't
nine.
get out.
I just don't choose to live that type of lifestyle, so I furthered myself far away from it. You know what I'm saying? In the
Sure.
whole nine. And I'm glad I did. Look at the life that I get to live right now, and look at the good people that I get to talk to right now, like even yourself.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
God is good, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's what our music was about, writing about the problems in the neighborhood, coming up with the solutions. And a lot of people started understanding where we were coming from. Our music did have messages in it, Now, to me, the first message record ever to me was The Message by Grandmaster Flash.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Which was a very, very good record. And not only that, but that was like a spark that lit a big flame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that was an influence on you.
Yeah, that was a big influence on me writing my records too.
Sure.
It's like, well, hey, let me write about what's going on inside this park, man. You know what I'm saying? And let me write about how we can make it better. Stuff like that,
Is that how also, because on that same album, 911 is a Joke was on there, and that was you. That was Flav's voice, right?
Nobody else's.
Yeah. So, but was that personal to you, that particular song and that message?
Let me say this. I wrote 911 as a joke off an actual experience.
Gotcha.
I wasn't poking at the emergency system. But back in those days when 911 was created, they were supposed to come within 5 minutes after you called them. Well, we had a gang fight at my school. I was in Dodge Junior High School. And and one of my friends got stabbed in his side, and a knife punctured his lung. So he's laying there on the ground bleeding. We call 911. 911 didn't come until like maybe 20 minutes.
Ooh.
So while he's laying there on the ground bleeding, he slipped into a coma. So they got him into the ambulance on his way to the hospital. He passed away.
Oh man.
So that's why I came up with 911 as a joke. Because I mean, come on, they're supposed to be here within 5 minutes, man, and they come 20. Come on, these motherfuckers must be a big fucking joke.
Yep.
So the reason why I wrote that record is because I wanted to wake the people up in the emergency system, saying, hey, listen, everybody's lives is just as important as you guys. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine. So, I mean, you know, we're dependent on y'all. You know, y'all came up with the system, not us. Y'all supposed to be here within 5 minutes. Y'all came within 25. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, wake up, man. Smell the coffee, guys, and treat everybody else's life like you would want your life to be treated.
Yeah.
That's why I wrote the record.
Did you fully appreciate at the time the influence of that? And you talk about Fight the Power. It was originally, I believe, for Spike Lee's movie Do the Right Thing. It was the theme song for that. But it stood the test of time. All your music stood the test of time, so that even today, some of the things you guys were singing about, late 80s, early 90s, on into the next decade, is still appropriate to talk about today. And I went back and looked at some of your videos, man, and those videos hit hard. If you hadn't seen a Public Enemy video from back in the day, go back and watch them, because they grab your attention from moment one. And some of the people in the comments, you know what they said in watching the videos in today's world? Yep, that was when music was about the message. We don't hear as much today. Do you find that to be the case? Because, man, the influence has been crazy.
Yeah, right now, a lot of the things that we spoke about back in the days, they're still kind of relevant to today. Yes.
Exactly.
Definitely, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, the world's changed a little bit, but not much. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine, because I mean, it's like a revolving thing. It's a revolving thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Problems come in, then they go, but then they come back again, and then they go out, and then they come back in again, and everybody has similar problems of someone else's. You know, like that. So that's why it's still relevant today.
And amazing that such great music, we know it stands the test of time, but that the message still stands is incredible. I want to take you to, you know, that album comes out, Fear of a Black Planet. You start moving in, and, you know, there's different directions. You make other albums. You go through some things personally and get to a point where you are presented this opportunity to take Flavor Flav in a different direction and go into the TV world. And I'll just let you run with that for a minute. But is that something you had thought about before? Because, you know, we know you got the personality. You had, you know, this character, if you want to call it that, a persona that everybody's going to want to see. But all of a sudden, it's not just music. Flav can go on TV. And you wound up being a huge success in TV, reality TV, and Flavor Flav. What was that story?
Well, let me say this. You know, when I was living in New York at the time too, you know, I was having my, you know, my ins and outs with the drugs and stuff, you know what I'm saying? You know, Public Enemy always stood for, you know, like Chuck D and the S1Ws. They were Muslims. You know what I'm saying? The whole nine. They didn't really drink. They didn't do drugs, smoke cigarettes. I partied a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I was the only one in the group that was the total opposite. I drank, I smoked, I did drugs. And that's first of all what really made Public Enemy,
Right.
because the clash of the opposite sides, which
Yeah.
attracted, you know what I'm saying, in the whole nine. So back in those days, I had my trouble, man, with dealing with my demons. Back in those days, with the coke and crack and beer and stuff. So I was getting in so much trouble around that time. And also, I had a lot of driving suspensions. You know what I'm saying?
You like to drive fast. Who doesn't?
Listen, that accumulated. I went to court one day. They finally ran all of this stuff in concurrent, and they gave me a year in
wow.
Rikers. So I went in 2000. And I came home I went in 2002, and I came home near the end of, no, I went in 2000, came home near the end of 2001.
Yeah.
I went in 2000. Hold on, let me get this right, because I want to give y'all facts.
Because the time frame matters now.
Yeah, I really want to be precise with this. No, I went in 2001, and then I came home near the end of 2002.
Gotcha.
Right? So when I got out, I said, let me go to LA. Let me see what I could do out there. So when I left New York and I went out to LA, I said, I'm not going back to New York until I get on TV or until I get into the movies or something, because I wanted to hit the screen now, like my boy Eddie Murphy did.
Yep.
Eddie Murphy is from Roosevelt, Long Island. And also, just to let y'all know, he was in my 9th grade English class.
Hold up.
In Roosevelt High School, we had a teacher.
You and Eddie Murphy were in the same 9th grade class?
Yes, he was in my 9th grade English class in
Roosevelt
High School.
I would have loved to have had a camera on that wall.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm like, shoot, if Eddie Murphy can make it out the hood, come on, man, why can't I? So I went out to California, and I was with my boy Sir Jinx, who was the DJ at the time for Ice Cube. That was my boy. Tight. So when I was over at Sir Jinx' house, a guy named Norris, he came by. He was an editor for Fox 5. Steve Harvey's Big Time show. That's when Steve Harvey had the Big Time show. He had all of these kind of acts coming on his show and everything. So he was like, Flav, you got to come with me, man. Come with me down to the Steve Harvey show. Boom. I said, okay, cool. Went with him to the Steve Harvey show. I sat in the audience on the edge, on the aisle. Cameras came down, picked me up and everything. Next thing you know, while I'm sitting in the audience, my phone is blowing up from people back at home. Yo, man, we see you on TV. And the whole nine, right? Steve Harvey comes out and he stopped his show and singled me out. And he said, everybody, I want y'all to know that if it wasn't for that young man, Flavor Flav, and his rap group, and his group Public Enemy, I would not have a show today.
Wow.
Like, wow. That
is wow.
Big. Yeah. But anyway, that was my first TV appearance.
Okay.
Then the idea came to other producers. Hey, why not use Flav for this and that? So my second appearance was the Bernie Mac show. I'll never forget it. My second appearance was the Bernie Mac show, and it was a golfing episode, and myself and the comedian Monique. I love Monique. You know what I'm saying? We were on that episode. That was my second TV appearance. My third TV appearance was with Ari Spears on Mag TV.
Oh, wow.
Then my fourth appearance, Damon Wayans and them came and got me to do My Wife and Kids. So I ended up doing an episode. I ended up making an appearance
Yeah.
on My Wife and Kids. And then next thing you know, here's a lady. Her name is, and I call her the Great, Laurie Muslow.
There you go.
Laurie Muslow walks me into a meeting with Chris Abrego and Mark Cronin. And they said, Flav, we would like for you to be on our Surreal Life TV show. Now, at that time, to me, Surreal Life was for has-beens.
Oh, okay.
You know,
well, I can see that.
like,
I can see that.
Like the first episode, Vanilla Ice was on it.
Yep.
And when Vanilla Ice was on that, he was out of circulation for a little bit, you know? Then the second Surreal Life, well, MC Hammer was on it.
Yep.
Because Hammer, he was big and strong, but then he went out of
Somebody hitting you up
for a minute, right? So I was like, yo, man, this show was for has-beens, man. I ain't trying to get on there. They said, Flav, listen, talk to Hammer. Ask Hammer, what did this show do for him? So I called MC Hammer. And I said, yo, Hammer, do you think I should do this real life TV show, man? He was like, yo, man, I really think you should do it, Flav, because great things has happened for me since I got off that TV show, this and that, and this. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'll give it a try. So it was MC Hammer that really talked me into doing Surreal Life 3.
Okay.
So,
well, you know what
I did Surreal Life 3, and on Surreal Life 3,
there you go.
I got to meet the great, first of all, the first person I met was Charo.
The hoochie coochie.
Yo, yeah, coochie. You know what I'm saying? She was the first one in the house that I met. Then the second one was a girl named Ryan Starr who got booted off American Idol. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I can see why. You know. Anyway, I met Ryan Starr. Then the next person that came in, I was like, you were kind of familiar, bro. It was kind of familiar. It was Dave Coulier from Full House.
Full House, yeah.
Yeah, Dave Coulier, right? Then the fourth person that came in, he was a little chubby and fat face and all of that, did not look like him. I'm like, yo, I know you, bro. I know you, man. He was like, Flav, my name is Jordan. Jordan who? I'm Jordan Knight. Remember me, Jordan Knight, man. New Kids on the Block.
No
like, yo, Jordan, yo, what's up? That was my boy, you know what I'm saying? The whole night. Then next thing you know, this big, tall lady, man, in high heels comes walking in the house. And she's acting like she's all that, you know? I didn't know who she was, but I seen her before.
Oh, yeah.
Bridget Nielsen.
There you go.
So anyway, me and Bridget ended up falling in love. And then after the Surreal Life show, because Surreal Life 3 ended up being #1.
Oh, yeah.
Just to let y'all know, all right? Surreal Life 3 was a #1 show. Then the producers found out me and Bridget was we fell in love. We was hanging out at the Mondrian Hotel, swimming in the pool, and all of this stuff. So they decided to give us our own show. Now I named the show Mad Love.
Okay.
But then behind my back, they went and named it Strange Love.
Strange Love. I remember it.
Love. We shot Strange Love. That was number 1. Then we shot Strange Love number 2. That was number 1. Then we shot Strange Love number 3. And that was number 1. Then when me and Bridget were breaking up and she went back to Italy to be with her family, the producers asked me, well, Flav, what are you going to do for love now? So I'm like, I don't know. They said, well, have you ever heard of The Bachelor? I said, yeah, I heard of The Bachelor, but I don't be watching no shit like that. Right. They said, well, we want to take you and put you in a house with 25 girls, and we want you to just, all you got to do is just narrow it down to 1. So I'm like, huh? This just seems kind of weird. I said, okay, I'll give it a try. Next thing you know, we did Flavor of Love 1. Flavor of Love 1 was number 1.
Yep.
Then we Flavor of Love 2, which was number 1. Then we did Flavor of Love 3, which was number 1. And that's the last show that I shot on VH1. So just to let you guys know that when I left VH1, I left at number 1. I never was number 2. So,
and it broke records in terms of viewers, right?
Yes. I brought VH1 its most viewers ever in its history, 7.5 million viewers.
Wow.
And they've never ever seen those numbers again to this day.
Oh, I guarantee.
They tried it with Bret Michaels. They tried it with Ray J. They even tried it with New York, giving her own shows and everything. Nobody could do it. The only one that can break that record is Flav. It's me. You know, but I just want to thank all of the people though that watched my TV shows, and you know what I'm saying, that supported me, that made me number 1. Because if it wasn't for all of those people that watched my show, it would not have been what it is. So, you know, whoever watches this program right now that we're on, you know what I'm saying? I just want to just say thanks to all of you that ever watched me and supported me through television or Public Enemy. Just thank you for making me who I am to society. Number 1.
Number 1. How close to reality is reality TV? Or is it like creating a persona as well? We talked about that with Flavor, right?
Reality TV is what you make it.
Yeah.
My show, I did what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Mine was all.
Of course you did.
It was not scripted at all. You know what I'm saying? The only script that I had in Flavor of Love is sometimes when I was doing my elimination ceremonies and stuff, and I have to say certain poems to the girls. Yeah, you know, I have my producers helping me write that shit.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? But everything else was totally Flav. But now reality TV today, man, is so scripted.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And some of it is garbage. You know what I'm saying? And dramaful. You know what I'm saying? And the whole 9. And I don't get into the drama thing, man. I try to stay far away from that.
This amazing career you've had, and we've touched on Public Enemy. Man, I could sit here and talk to you for hours about, you know, we could go through a whole discography about what you guys did and how you wrote songs. But I want to give everybody, you know, the whole glimpse of Flavor. If you could go back in time and give young Flavor advice, knowing what you know now, you know, before all the fame and before all the music and the TV and all of that, what would you tell a young, aspiring Flavor when he was just getting started?
I would tell him, listen, you got a life ahead of you. Just live it and don't change anything. Just do what you got to do in order to become who you want to be.
What What is your favorite era of Public Enemy? If you don't mind me asking, is there a time when you thought this is when it was me, it was real?
My most favorite era of Public Enemy.
Maybe there
I'm
wasn't
gonna tell
one.
you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. My most favorite era of Public Enemy were all of the years that we were out on the road and performing.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about traveling the world, because we were traveling so much to where we circled the globe 22 and a half times.
Wow.
Each
22 and a half
state,
times.
each state of the United States, out of 51 states, we've been in at least 42 states or 43 states 22 times and better.
That's amazing.
So that was my favorite era of Public Enemy, just being out there and
Sure.
getting on stage, putting smiles on people's faces and everything, and making people go, ooh, ah, yo! Yeah, that was my favorite era.
I hear you. Couple more things and we'll let you go. I know you're a busy, busy man, and we'd love to have you back at another point, Flav. But let me ask you something. This one might come at you from a different view, because it hit me. I was telling everybody we were interviewing with you, doing an interview with you, and I'm watching TV, right? I think it was 2 weekends ago. And I kind of like UFC, MMA fight, and I get into that and watch it on the weekends. And I'm watching the Professional Fighters League. And I see this guy on there fighting. Forgive me if I mispronounce his name. Biagio Ali Walsh. People are wondering where I'm going with this. I'm going to tie it all in here in just a minute. You know where I'm going already. But he's Muhammad Ali's grandson. So that caught my attention. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch this guy fight. And he's fighting. And all of a sudden, they're panning to the audience. And who are they showing in the audience but Flavor Flav? I said, okay, Flav's over there enjoying it, having a good time. No, wait. Now, I might get this wrong. I could have sworn they said he was your godson. I don't know if I got that wrong or not. But the guy wins the fight. And they pan to you. Not the fighter. They pan to you. And you up there celebrating, going crazy. All of a sudden, he's up there with you. It's the whole crew. Dude, I knew I was going to interview you with you, but I had no idea I was going to see you just by chance in that kind of realm and that kind of fight. What is the tie there? All of a sudden, you and MMA are tied together too? I mean, you're everywhere, man.
Well, let me say this, Muhammad Ali, out of all of the children that he had twins, Rashida and Jamila. So Rashida Ali, she has 2 boys, Nico and Biagio. And the boys made me their godfather.
Okay.
So I am both of the boys' godfathers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm responsible for, first of all, for Nico in the ring fighting.
Oh, really?
Which is Biagio's brother.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And right now, Nico, and he's doing a tremendous job right now to this day. Right now, his record is 8-0. He fights again on May 20th, and we're going for 9-0.
There you go.
Biagio, he just started recently fighting. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so proud of Biagio, because now he lost his first fight, but he won his last 2. So now his record is 3-1.
Gotcha.
The next fight that we go for, we're going for 4-1.
There you go.
So I never miss none of my godson's fights. So that's why I was there, because I was there supporting my godson, Biagio, who did a tremendous job, who did a great job
it was just crazy timing though, because I knew you and I are going to be talking, and I just happened to be watching a fight. And what I learned is you never know where you might see Flav. He can show up anywhere. And it brings me to my kind of my last question I have for you. Two of them. Are you guys Public Enemy status now? It doesn't have to be a long answer. You can just, if you want to address it, you can. If not, I understand that too. But just where you guys are today, if you don't mind saying.
Well, today me and Chuck are talking about putting some things together.
There you go.
In the whole nine. I think that we have a legacy right now that I feel that we should live on. You know what I'm saying?
Amen to that.
Because most legends are dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But we're legends that are still living. And I feel that right now it's time for us to really, really take advantage of the life that we have, that we're living right now. Because there's a lot of us that's dead and they're not here to talk about it, but we're still here to talk about it. So let's take advantage of the opportunity of being able to go out and to perform and to put smiles on people's faces again. You know what I'm saying? I want to come out with a whole fresh, brand new Public Enemy album, which I started producing. Man. You know what I'm saying? So my partner, Chuck D, man, I mean, he's been all over the place, and you know what I'm saying, in the whole nine. And right now he's sitting back taking a chill pill. While he's taking, he's still working now. Because Chuck D is a workaholic, bro. I swear to God, Chuck is always working, doing something. You know what I'm saying? So I said, while we got this time, why not let's pull the Public Enemy car. Pull the cover up the Public Enemy car. Let's pull this Public Enemy car out of the driveway and let's drive it around again for a little bit more.
Well, like you said, and like we talked about on this show.
Before we decide to put it in the junkyard.
The message remains, and there's still a place. We talked about it for Public Enemy. For Public Enemy, excuse me. And last question I'll ask you. What are you up to now? Because I heard a rumor that you might be on the verge of taking over Vegas. Now, I don't know what you can say, what you can't say. But you might be heading down that road as well.
I am in talks right now on my residency. I'm in talks right now with putting together a residency in Las Vegas.
That'd be amazing.
And we're real close right now on closing it out. You know what I'm saying? So from our mouth to God's ears, it will happen. And when that does happen, then I really got something now that I could do all the way until my death. But I still want to do Public Enemy shows too as well.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But this residency thing is very big. It's very important to me. This is something that I've been dreaming about doing for years and years and years. And hopefully finally would be now the time has come to where I can get it done and do it.
And I know you got good people with you. You mentioned Lori, and it's all good entertainment behind you.
Man, let me tell you something. When it comes down to Lori Muslow, I don't care what nobody say. She's the best. She's the greatest. Anybody that got anything to say bad about Lori Muslow will get punched in the face by Flavor Flav.
Shout out to Lori. She'll love that.
Right. I'm very protective of my friend, man. I mean, it was her that walked me into the VH1 office. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I told Lori? I said, you know what? I'm going to be the biggest thing on TV. Watch. You watch, Lori. I told her I was going to be this big phenomenon. And you know what? I did it. And in her eyes, I did prove my point.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lori, for being part of my big success.
Well, Flav, it's an honor, man. It's really an honor, and I appreciate you coming on the show. We'll consider you part of the Edge of It All family as well. One thing I've learned is wherever you go and whatever it is you decide to do, the Flavor Flav show never really stops. So we're going to see you and we're going to hear from you wherever you wind up and whatever it is you wind up doing next. And we love you for it, man. And I appreciate personally you coming on my show, taking the time to do it, because like I told you already, it takes me back, man. It takes me back to a happy time, a good time, but a time when you were forced to face things in a way where you had to talk. And Public Enemy is, and Flavor Flav is, the stuff of really my life and a lot of people's lives in a way that has stuck with them through the generations. And I just want to thank you not only for coming on the show, but thank you for your influence in the music and the message you've always sent, man.
Hey, and I thank you guys for having me too. You know what I'm saying? It's been great, you know. And let me tell you something. It's a great name of this is a great name of a show that you have.
Thanks, man.
Everybody in life at one point lived on an edge.
True that.
Staying in the whole nine. So it's a great title of the show that you guys got, you know, because everybody at some point lived on the edge of it all. They really did. You know what I'm saying? Me and a whole lot of other people, including yourself.
Sure.
You
Thanks,
know,
Flav.
the whole nine. So, hey, listen, good luck with your show.
Thank you, my man.
It really, really blows up, and I hope that my input helps out. You know?
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Before you go, where do you want people to follow you? Social media, wherever you want them to go. Tell us where you want them to go.
Well, on social media, I am on Instagram. It's Flavor Flav Official.
Okay, Flavor Flav Official.
And then also, it's on Twitter at Flavor Flav.
Okay. I know, look, it's not like you're hard to find. I mean, it's kind of an easy question, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to find Flavor, you're going to find it. Flav, right. We appreciate you, man. I hope we get to talk to you soon. And best of luck with everything you continue to do.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me.
Appreciate Flavor Flav coming on the show. Thanks, everyone, again for tuning in to this episode of The Edge of It All, the story behind the story. Appreciate everybody taking the time to join in today and listen to us. And also thank you to our sponsors for making this podcast possible. Discount Tires in Sherman Oaks, California, and Kinchan Ramen. Appreciate them sponsoring this podcast. Thank you to our man, Flavor Flav, for coming on the show, being a friend of the show, and telling us his story, some things I'd never heard before. And I thought that I knew pretty much all there was to know about Public Enemy and Flavor Flav. But really appreciate him coming on the show and being an incredible special guest. Follow all his social media. Follow all of our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And wherever you get your podcast, go there, download, like, follow, and share, and subscribe. The Edge of It All. Also, go to our friends at UBN Go International Network. They've got a great playlist of podcasts. We are happy to be part of that lineup. Thanks to everyone for tuning in today. There's a new episode of The Edge of It All every 2 weeks where you will get inside scoop that you have never heard before. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.